What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including the Bloodline breakup book for WrestleMania 41. Shawn Michaels has got one more in him. The Hardy Boys returning to WWE for a match. Michael Cole reveals the truth on Corey Graves' heat. WWE ratings have taken a hit. Ricky Starks' his new name. WWE introduces new titles. Michael Cole says Vince McMahon would never allow this, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on Wrestlelamia XL. And now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at the Bloodline breakup booked for WrestleMania. At top of today's news is the latest example of how the Bloodline remains WWE's go-to goldmine for storylines. While Roman Reigns' civil war against Solo Sikoa could be over, a new report from WrestleVote states there's a lot going on there. I don't know what everybody's plans are, but I do know that they're gearing up towards Jacob versus Solo Sikoa. So after months of speculation that Solo is going to wrestle Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, they shift that to Jacob Fatu, and we'll see how it plays out, but I do believe that's the direction. WWE seems to be turning Fatu babyface, but is it too soon to do this? What do you guys think of the breakup of the Bloodline at WrestleMania? Is this the right route to go down? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Shawn Michaels got another one in him. Could Shawn Michaels return to the ring? While the Heartbreak Kid has claimed that he's retired and plenty busy running NXT, former WWE superstar Fandango, who recently appeared in NXT, dropped this bombshell at a Q&A for the Love of Wrestling podcast. You know who I talked to at NXT last week, who said he's got 1 or 2 matches left in him? Shawn Michaels. Yeah, and that's a guy, he's the reason why I got into the business. So honestly, it'd probably never happen, but that would be my dream match. Now, fans know never say never when it comes to retirement in wrestling, but the biggest question isn't whether Michaels will wrestle again, it's whether he should wrestle again after the debacle at Crown Jewel. Michaels should have kept his legacy intact when he retired at WrestleMania 26. What do you guys think? Should Shawn Michaels come out for 1 or 2 more? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Moose makes a surprise appearance at NXT. Now, speaking of WWE's developmental brand, current TNA X Division champion Moose made a surprise appearance on the 18th February NXT. He confronted current NXT champion Oba Femi and hinted at an inevitable match between them. Now, this could be a classic house fight, and one that's likely to have fans of NXT and TNA paying close attention. Next up, the Hardy Boys returning to WWE for a match. Now, while the Hardys are currently signed to TNA, they showed up on last night's NXT, with Cultaholic reporting on what happened. Matt and Jeff Hardy made a surprise appearance on Tuesday night's edition of NXT, answering a challenge from No Quarter Catch crews Tavian Heights and Miles Bourne. The Hardys accepted the No Quarter Catch challenge, and the match will take place on next week's NXT from Cincinnati, Ohio. Matt and Jeff's appearance, along with Moose's, are more examples of how the WWE is capitalizing on its partnership with TNA. Triple H even commented on the Hardys' return on Twitter, saying, "Two men who have redefined tag team wrestling for over 25 years. The Hardy Boys have reached the pinnacle of our industry and often jumped off it, to the amazement of fans worldwide, and they return to the WWE ring next week on NXT in Cincinnati." It'd be so cool at the same time of the return that Triple H could surprise him with a Hall of Fame induction. After all, they both deserve it, right? Next up, Michael Cole spills the tea during an appearance on Impaulsive. Now, add longtime WWE announcer Michael Cole to the list of WWE personnel who've appeared on Logan Paul's Impaulsive podcast, and Cole had plenty to say, including his opinion of Vince McMahon, the truth on what happened with Corey Graves, and much more, including what Michael Cole said that Vince McMahon would never allow this in today's WWE. One of the most fascinating aspects of Paul's interview with Cole concerned Michael Cole's longtime boss, Vince McMahon. While McMahon hasn't been in WWE since his abrupt resignation in early 2024, Cole opened up about how his former boss would react to the changes made to WWE, including the explosion of advertising in the ring. The Prime logo on the mat and now all of the logos we've got, this would have never happened. I understood Vince's perspective that in the mat was sacred, but it's 2025. This is the world. Now, he also shared his opinion about McMahon, an obvious question regarding the controversy surrounding Vince, such as multiple NDA agreements with women, Janelle Grant's lawsuit against McMahon that alleges sex trafficking, and other scandals. I will never ever disparage Vince McMahon. He's got his personal issues and whatnot, but from a professional standpoint, I never disparage the man. I would not be here today without Vince. He gave me everything. Stuck with me when I was learning to be a wrestling guy. Wasn't a wrestling guy when I came here. But how long will Michael Cole be in WWE for? Well, Cole also discussed his current deal with WWE, noting it's an 8-year deal that expires when he turns 66, as Cole is currently 58. He mentioned, just signed a brand new contract with the company, so I'm going to be here for a number of years, but the company really made me feel, really for the first time that I was really important to this place. With the WWE career dating back to 1997, it's interesting to hear Cole say this is the first time he's felt important in the WWE. Also, since that time joining WWE, he's only ever missed 3 shows, showing his true commitment to the company. Next up, he also revealed truth on the Corey Graves heat. Just what went on between Corey Graves and WWE management. Graves' move from calling matches on the main roster to NXT didn't go over well with the longtime announcer, with Graves taking to social media to express his disgust. Although there was speculation that this was a work, the situation remains uncertain, but Michael Cole was asked about things on the Logan Paul's podcast, signaling it was more or less of a shoot. That's a strange situation. I love Corey, love him to death. I still don't understand all the dynamics of it. I know that he said something out on social media that was pretty critical of the company. He tried to explain to everyone that he was trying to generate some interest in maybe a type of storyline. I don't think the company saw it that way. Michael Cole told Logan Paul that WWE and Graves are working things out, and he said Graves is his best broadcast partner besides Pat McAfee. Logan Paul claims he has go-away heat. But Michael Cole wasn't the only person talking wrestling on the Impaulsive podcast. Logan Paul discussed his own WWE career, telling Cole he believes he has go-away heat. I think I have go-away heat, so the only reason why it works is because I'm a great wrestler. There's a handful of the audience that is genuinely like, get this guy out of here. Now, traditionally, go-away heat is usually defined as a wrestler being so annoying that fans change the channel rather than watching that said wrestler. It's doubtful Paul meant this as the preferable heat is for a wrestler to be so annoying that fans want to see this wrestler get what's coming to them. Next up, SmackDown ratings take a hit. Now, are WWE fans growing bored with the WWE product right now? Well, consider this report from Wrestling Observer Figure 4 Online about the ratings for the 14th February SmackDown. WWE SmackDown episode averaged 1.384 million viewers on USA Network, down 8.2% from the previous week. It's the lowest audience total for the show since December 20th. They mentioned that SmackDown's ratings have steadily declined ever since December, and that is the same case with Raw, as the viewership is steadily going down. With WrestleMania only weeks away, shouldn't these numbers be going up? Next up, who is Ricky Saints? Ricky Saints has joined NXT, and while his face is familiar, fans are wondering how former AEW wrestler Ricky Starks feels about his new ring name. Saints appeared on Busted Open Radio discussing the name change and admitting, it's going to take time for fans to get used to it. I respect that they care so deeply about me and that they rebel against the name change, but at the same time, I'm a product in New Orleans first and foremost. And I want to pay respect to that as well. I think this is the best of both worlds, and that means a lot to me. Obviously, I think it's cool to have a piece of home with me, and that person doesn't change. I'm still that guy, so it is what it is. WWE's policy of giving wrestlers new ring names so the promotion can monetize them and maintain IP rights is nothing new, so the name change isn't unexpected, especially since Ricky Starks is Ricky's real name and he owns the rights to it. Ricky Starks also discussed what went wrong in AEW. The topic of Saints' run in AEW as Ricky Starks came up, with Busted Open Radio staff asking Ricky where he thinks things went wrong. At one point, fans saw Ricky as a potential main eventer in the promotion, but that never happened. He mentioned it. You could say it was Punk leaving and things kind of fell apart. Absolutely, I probably agree with you on that, right? Or you could say that Ricky didn't play the politics well enough. Alright, for sure, there's so many things you can say. He reportedly requested that AEW not renew his one-year option in 2023, only for AEW to keep him there, ultimately releasing him earlier this month. But he told Busted Open Radio that while he wanted to leave AEW, never once was I not willing to do something. Never once was I sabotaging anything. I will say this, there are some people who stuck their nose in my creative business that shouldn't have. Veterans. And that's it. I'll leave it at that. And if they got a problem with me, they got my number and text me about it. I think it is what it is. If it didn't work for their creative, then someone had to get the boot. That's how I see it. Now, fans will have to wait and see how things play out for Saints in WWE. What do you think are his chances to succeed in WWE? Next up, WWE introduces new titles. Does WWE have too many titles? Well, apparently Triple H doesn't think so, as WWE's chief creative officer recently tweeted the introduction of more titles, this being the women's and men's WWE ID championships. A tweet provided details on the new titles, including how the champions will be determined. The first WWE ID champions will be determined in a tournament across the top independent wrestling promotions. The WWE ID champions will then be defended on the indies. Stay tuned to this account for more news. Now, it'll be interesting to see what indie promotions are involved and whether WWE exerts any control on these promotions. Some fans and industry observers are already concerned that WWE ID will weaken the indie scene and lead to more WWE influence across the wrestling world. Now, for those keeping track, there are currently 21 belts in WWE across all rosters by our calculations. Wouldn't you say that is a little too many? Next up, Mick Foley looking for a dream match against Rhea Ripley? How is Mick Foley looking for one last match, and if so, does he want Rhea Ripley in the ring? During a chat with Jamal Niaz of Monopoly event, Mrs. Foley's baby boy listed opponents that he'd like to face from today. Not just a hardcore death match, but I could have torn it down with Darby Allin in a regular match. When it comes to the wild stuff, Jon Moxley and I could have torn it down. Kevin Owens and I are hardcore rules, not necessarily a death match, but just something really physical. No shortage of people. I still think a 59-year-old Mick Foley and Rhea Ripley would draw at WrestleMania, or maybe I come on Mommy's behalf and seek vengeance on Dirty Dom. That could work. Now, Mick's body is kind of in rough shape right now, so hopefully he won't be trying to prove himself in any more further death matches. And finally, a WWE Hall of Famer's wife passes away. Now, last but not least, we're saddened to hear that Maureen Morella has passed away at the age of 85. Mrs. Morella was a widow of Robert Morella, aka WWE legend Gorilla Monsoon, and according to a report from Legacy.com, Maureen J. Morella has passed away peacefully on Sunday, February 16, 2025, at the United Methodist Community in Collingswood, New Jersey, where she was a resident for the last 3 years. I want to send our condolences to Mrs. Morella's friends and family. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.